Gerry, we're bringing back the podcast, and I'm fucking dying. I sound like Triple H with everything I say. I'm like, "Ugh, any game. Gerry, I need your help on this one. Look, you've been waiting 14 years to get on the podcast. We
Yeah.
said we'd do a cold open to the show. Just come up with something, will you? Will you just give us a cold open that we can use? Because I'm dying here.
Like what? Like a joke or something? Or
Yeah, a joke or something to
a
just set the
joke?
mood, and then we'll go into the music, and yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
well, a joke. Jeez, hold on. All right, hold on. Right, hold on. Okay, I like this one. I
Okay.
got told this the other day. So Donald Trump
Right.
and a hand doctor go into a bar with a bottle of lube, and the
No,
barman
no, no, no,
says,
Gerry. No, 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 no. We'll just go to the music. Go to the music. No, this is why we didn't have you on
"Oh,
for ages. No, no. Stop right now. Please stop dancing posh. Brooklyn
oh,
Beckham
Jesus."
hit out at his family in a sensational Instagram post where he revealed the rift between them that culminated in his mom Victoria dancing all over him, whatever that means, at his wedding to Nicola Peltz, and how he was banned from seeing father David unless it was at one of his 350th birthday parties. Wow, what a time to come back. We're right back in as the Beckhams are falling apart. What a time to be alive. Low blows is back. Beckham's in disarray. But Gerry, as we get kicked off here on the resurrection of the Low Blows podcast and your debut as host after 14 long years, Gerry, who is the most embarrassing wrestling mom?
Jesus, like, come on, like that. It has to be obvious to everybody, especially that we are living in Ireland. There's not that many people in wrestling in Ireland that are moms, so it has to be Katie Harvey. I don't give a shit if she was. I don't give a shit if she was the host the last time, or one of the hosts the last three times, or whatever the fucking host the last three times, or whatever it was. I don't give a shit. Of course, she's an embarrassing mom. She goes out in spandex every week, wrestles, thinks she's the best thing since sliced bread, goes over, thinks she's the best thing in sliced bread at the training with fucking Bailey. Thinks she's fucking then in WWE, or like you said, oh WWE. Yeah, exactly. Katie Harvey, WWE. Of course, she has to be the embarrassing man. Like, you're not gonna like what do people think we're gonna choose? Fucking Becky Lynch? Becky Lynch is successful. Becky Lynch has lots of money. Poor Katie Harvey is fucking poor. She has nothing. So
Katie
fuck
Harvey's not
actually
poor.
poor.
What do
Actually
you
poor.
stop? Now
Everyone's
you're getting
poor.
into defamation. It was a bit of light ribbon, but now you're getting into Katie Harvey's economic situation. Katie Harvey's not poor. She's a very hard working woman, and like she's running a fight factory as
Say
well.
she
Like
wasn't. I didn't say she wasn't. She's a very hard worker. She's a great wrestler. She's a great personality, but she's an embarrassing mother. That's it.
Gerry
That's
coming
it.
out swinging on his predecessor right out of the bat. Jesus
This is what
Christ!
happens.
I
This is what happens when you don't put me on the main show for 14 fucking years. I come
I
in with a fucking gun load of shit. So you know what? You're in the fucking sights, pal. You're in my fucking sights.
It's been 5 years since we even did a show with Katie, though. Like, it's not
Don't
like,
care. No,
how
everyone's
do you
getting it.
still
Fuck
have
everyone's
this
getting it.
grudge?
Everyone's getting it. Don Marnell, fuck him. Scott, fuck him. Jade, fuck him. Fuck who was that other fucker? Fuck him as well. I don't give a fuck. Everyone's getting it. I don't give a shit. Everyone's gonna realize I should have been here from day fucking one. Simple as that. Simple as
Gerry
that.
starting off the podcast swinging. Jesus Christ. Oh, God. I've fallen out with everyone you've just named. I've managed to hold on to those friendships and relationships for years.
Fuck them all.
Jesus. Well, Gerry, look, you're very welcome. And I think I owe you an explanation because we haven't actually talked about this. We have a
No.
discussion where, like, again, we put out the promo and stuff like that as well. But that was a promo and we were having a laugh and stuff like that as well. But it was based on a true story. And essentially, yes, I did snub you. That is kind of why we're here for a long time. And I feel like I owe you an explanation for why that happened for 14 years of our lives now. 14 years Low Blows has been running. So I feel like you've earned it and I owe you an explanation. And do you want to know why you were never chosen for the podcast?
Because you were jealous of my popularity with the wrestling public. It's as simple as that.
Not exactly. Not exactly. It's close. Like, what was it because you couldn't do podcast? No, it wasn't. You're a very talented man. Host Dublin Comic Con. You do a lot of different things. I even gave you. I'm right in saying Talk Nerdy to Me was your first ever podcast.
Yes. Yeah.
So I gave you your first podcast, and like again, like kind of was exec produce on that as well. Like, so I rate your talent. It was nothing to do with talent. It was never anything to do with that. Was it like a personality fit? No, we've known each other nearly 2 decades, and we've got on for at least half of that as well. Like, so don't be all right, Gerry. Okay, I feel like we can go for. All right, okay. I can. Jer giveth and Jer can take away here. All right. Careful fucking now. I'm still the fucking boss. But anyway, no, it wasn't because it was a personality mismatch. We'd done podcasts together, like Talk Nerd to Me. We did Star Jars previously, where we talked about Star Wars and stuff. The main reason, and in the scope of things, when you consider it's gone on for nearly a decade and a half, probably sounds a little bit trivial. The reason you were never asked to be the host of the Low Blows podcast was because it was funny to me. I remember when Don left the show after like a year and a bit when we first launched the podcast, and we brought in like Scott and Jade, and you made a comment to me like, and you were just kind of like, "Oh yeah, no, I'd love to get a shot if there's something there," and I could just tell I'd known you for that stage around a decade at that point anyway, so I knew you, and I knew there was a little bit of needle in that. You were being professional, but there was a little bit of needle, and I'm like, "Oh, he wants this," and then I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna ask him now, and just wind him up to 10, and then I'll give it to him one day. Like I'm very happy for Gerry to do the podcast. He's been like, you and me are Low Blows from day one. We're the only two day one members of Low Blows that are still left. So you're entitled to be on the podcast, and you're very qualified to do so. But then, like, years and years passed, and I never felt like letting the joke go. And then, like, I got the idea to bring the show back, and I'm like, actually, it's weird now that I've never asked Gerry. It's weird. Like, it's actually, he's dedicated a significant chunk, like probably like 14 years. So at least 1/3 of your life. Like, actually, it is. It's 1/3 of your life you've dedicated to Low Blows. So fine, I'll drop the joke. Welcome to Low Blows, Gerry. Do you want to tell the story from your side? That's my side into why we never gave you the gig.
Well, that's your side of the story. My side of the story is pure fucking jealousy. You see how popular I am when I'm on the door. Everybody comes in. Oh, Gerry, how are you? And then they'll all say, "Oh, is the other fucker here?" And like, yeah, he's upstairs. Don't mind him. Be grand. The show will start soon. Don't worry about it. It'll be absolutely fine. And of course, they see you and goes, "Oh, gee, there he is, fucking prick." And I like, lads, don't worry about it. We'll depose him one of these days. It'll be fine. We'll get rid of him and be grand. We'll all have a grand time. But let's be perfectly honest, okay? You never got me on for whatever your reason is for never getting me on, and then you realized you might think it's fucking funny, but you realized
it was
just how
I lived it for over a decade. It was very funny. It was very funny how it just slowly
it stopped being funny though, didn't it?
I put our friendship on the line, like for the sake of this joke of just winding
friendship. What fucking friendship?
I remember, like, Robert Keane came in and you're like, he's like 12 and he's never worked for Low Blows. I'm like, yeah, he's going to be perfect. You don't need any experience to do this show.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Like, you, it was all a big joke to you and whatever else. But then we did Star Jars, and then you realized, oh fuck, we actually have something here. So people are engaging with this. People like Star Jars. People were actually coming to you, going, "Geez, you know what? I really like the fucking Star Jars bit. Why don't you do more Star Jars bit?" And you realized, then you came sniveling little fuck. You came to me and go, Gerry, would you like to be part of the podcast now? Because I think you're great. So fuck you, Gerry.
Your impression of me.
That's my impression of you, yeah.
Do you know
it
what?
Doesn't. It was absolute. That was pitch perfect, spot on. Fucking spot on.
Don Marnell used to do a much better impression. I'm just saying. I'm gonna start now. If you're gonna start throwing shit at me, I'm gonna tell you bits like the previous co-hosts were better than you. That's what I'm gonna do. Don did a much better impression. I'm just saying. Not comparing, but I'm just saying.
And where is he now? He's fucking. He's a nobody. He's a nobody on the other side of the world. Fuck him. He's gone.
He went on to massive success.
He's
Look, this is
fucking
what it
gone.
is. It's a
I'm
springboard,
still
Jerry.
here. I'm still here. He's gone. I'm here.
You're very
Okay.
welcome. Look,
Same as that.
we're delighted to have you, and there was a huge outpouring as well of affection for you when we released it. So, look, delighted to have you. You're going to do great. I suppose, how does it feel like now you're sitting in the big chair? Like, because I always struck you as someone who, like, I never knew if you actually wanted the gig. Because, like, again, you can say a lot of things about you, Gerry, but one word, like, a couple of words having worked with you for so long that I'd use to describe you would be a lazy bastard. Like you like to be asked, you very much like to be considered for things, but not actually do the work. Do you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
Your ideal scenario is I said, I've thought of you for this thing. What do you think about it? And you're like, I'm not going to do that, but thanks for thinking of me. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
your dream scenario. Now you're here. Now the work starts, Gerry. How does that
You
feel?
know, but you see, when it comes to doing this or anything at all, right? If you don't get asked to do it, you instantly get FOMO. I'm like, why am I not good enough? Why didn't I get asked to do it? And then you get asked to do it, and you're like, I don't want to do your fucking thing. Ask me, bollocks. You
I'm not
know,
going to give them the satisfaction.
I'd fuck off. It's like this is like it's exactly the same in work though. It's like if someone else gets something in work to do, like a project to do or something like that, and I don't, I'm like, why the fuck didn't I get that? But then the second I get asked to do a project, I haven't the time for that. Will you fuck off and leave me alone? You know, it's exactly the same with this. So I'm like, I'm literally, this is a pity. This is a pity host. That's all I'm pity hosting
Right.
here.
You're
That's all
giving us a
because
bit of sympathy. I
because
suppose,
because
like,
you've
if you'd
gone
said it,
through the entire, you've gone through everybody, and nobody wants to work with you. So I'm like, fine, I'll work with you now.
if you'd said it like for a decade and then I offered it and you said no, you couldn't really back down. But we'll put the shelf life on this at about 4 or 5 shows. We'll see how we get on and see if we lose interest or not. But no, Gerry, you're very welcome. I'm delighted to have you here. I always love our chats and really love podding with you at Star Jar. So I'm looking forward to doing more of that here. Though it will be clear and kind of it's important that we have a mission statement and we come out and explain what is this podcast? Why are we back? What's it going to be? Because as anyone who will listen to us, there'll be a lot of newer listeners because as we brought Low Blows back, you and I saw it, we thought it was just going to be a nostalgia piece for a lot of people who used to come to the parties. But actually it's become a whole new thing where people who grew up, like we have people whose parents used to go to our parties and they used to see their parents going and they're like, I'm gonna go to that. And now they're our regulars and they're the people that we know best and stuff like that. So there's a lot of younger people who be listening to Low Blows for the first time, and there's a lot of people who again will have listened since day one. The day one people will know that you build the show around. The show has evolved with the people that's done it. The show that we did with Don was very different from the show we ended up doing with Jade and Scott and Katie Harvey and Corbett Keane and so on. So this will be different under Jared. The one thing I will say is for anyone who's like, are they just trying to do Star Jars but using the Low Blows name because that much better? No, that's not this. We're not going to
Yes,
try do a
yes, it
Star
is.
Wars podcast for you. It is going to be the Low Blows you remember. But I suppose the first thing then is why are we back? And I can talk to you about my experience because I gave up the parties and I gave up the podcast. And at the time, the idea was forever in 2021. And what I've kind of did it because I was like, I've done all that now. I've done it and I don't know. It would take energy to come back after COVID. And I don't know if I have much left. I don't know if I have the passion, the ideas, stuff like that. I genuinely like if someone came along and just took the baton and I'd start to go to other people's parties and I'd start to listen to other people's podcasts and so on. And I'm not going to turn around and like loads of people have podcasts and there's loads of good podcasts in Ireland. So I'm not throwing shade here, but I've tried new wrestling podcasts in the intervening years and nothing covers wrestling in the way that I personally feel about it as a fan, and I felt that a lot of our listeners back in the day felt like it. I watch wrestling, and Gerry, I think you're the same. It's fun. It's a hobby. It's something that I do to get away from the messiness of life. I want to enjoy watching wrestling and I want to find things to enjoy about watching wrestling, but I'm not stupid and I have eyes and I'm devoting time and attention and energy towards it. So I recognize that sometimes things can be shit. And that's not the end of the world if wrestling isn't good. If there's a mediocre episode of Raw, that's not the end of the world. And it can actually be funny and cathartic to have a laugh about that with friends. And that was kind of always the idea of Low Blows. Appreciating and sharing and creating a community for like-minded wrestling fans. For me, and this isn't about podcasting in Ireland because I haven't limited like myself to podcasts in Ireland. I've tried podcasts from all over. And for me, podcasts that talk about WWE and wrestling in general fall into one or two camps that I see these days, okay? One is because WWE, AEW, etc., have gotten so much closer with the media that podcasts are totally co-opted. Like, and they're coming out and they're saying that whatever they do, that was the most amazing thing we've ever seen. Jey Uso jumped off the top rope, and it's like, yeah, he does that every shot. It's not the most amazing thing, you know what I mean? But they're trying to get a job. They're going, I might get on a kickoff show if I say this is really deadly because that's what they want. And I'm like, I can't take you seriously. I hope you do get your job. I've no problem with you, but I'm not going to listen to this. Or it goes completely the opposite direction, and all of a sudden, if WWE do a bad episode of SmackDown, it's treated with the same kind of gravity as Russia invading Ukraine. You know, it's like the wrestling business died today. And it's like, no, you're being melodramatic. Like, it's just wrestling. Like, calm the fuck down. So, what do we want to do here? And like, I think what do we want is ultimately to reflect what wrestling is today. I don't want to do the old show. We've done that. And we're doing it with Gerry, so the show's going to work differently because he's a different relationship to wrestling as well. There's a few things I don't want to do as well. I don't want to have to care too much about clicks or think about that. I just want to us to enjoy making the show together, and also I think that will then reflect to a certain amount of people because through Low Blows, we created the best fan parties in the world. We've created a community. That community tends to think very similar to us about wrestling and enjoy it in a very similar way. We just want to reflect how you feel about wrestling and enjoy watching it as a fan. If things are bad and cringy, we'll laugh about it. We'll make fun of it. If things are great, we'll celebrate them and we'll talk about why they remind us about how we love wrestling. But this is a new Low Blows. We're older now. I would like to say that we're more mature, but the first 10 minutes of the podcast really don't work in my favor there. I don't know. I don't know if
No,
we're that much more mature, Gerry.
no.
But we are older, and in many ways, like there is a maturity level that's coming in. I don't want to be using this to start drama and fights. I was younger, I was more zealous at the time. Like when I brought back Low Blows, I said I'm a different person now. I'm Gerry in his mid 30s, you know. Now I'm Gerry in his late 30s. I don't want drama from this. I want to enjoy it. And I think Low Blows has kind of followed that trend where we brought the fun back, where there's no kind of beef, there's no drama at nights. It's just everyone enjoying being around each other. That's kind of what I want here. But also, we're older and we're grumpier too. Like, we came very close to calling this podcast Grumpy Old Nerds because that's who we are. So it's
Yeah.
going to reflect this stage of our lives too.
Yeah.
It's also a new wrestling landscape, and I think it's important for us to stay connected to what the world of wrestling is. And like I said, it's a new show, and you build the show around the personalities involved. So, like Gerry, for example, you're not necessarily like the last show we did would have had Katie Harvey and Corporate Keen. Okay,
Yeah.
Corporate Keen, particularly at the time, was obsessive about all things wrestling. He was the archetype of the obsessive internet fan who watched everything. Like he tried to watch every bit of good wrestling. Katie Harvey had built her life around wrestling. You have over 2 decades experience within the wrestling business and in and around it between Low Blows, OTT, and everything else in Irish wrestling and kind of knowing people and having stories and whatnot. But you don't have that obsessive nature of wrestling in your life. You're balanced. And that's where I'm at these days as well. So while we're not going to try backdoor a Star Wars show just using the Low Blows name, I do want to talk about things outside of wrestling. Okay? I do want to talk about life. I want to talk about, like, pop culture bits will come in too. I do want to kind of have bigger conversations and then still talk about the big things in wrestling, but not have it just be a wrestling podcast. We did that for 7 years. If you listened, you heard it. If you didn't, the archives are out there and you can listen to it. But that doesn't interest me necessarily doing the exact same show we did for so long. But even if we do veer off wrestling for parts of it, one thing myself and Gerry have discussed quite regularly is we want you to be able to listen to every show that we do and to enjoy it and get something out of it. So even if it's not something you're necessarily interested in, I think the important thing to remember is if we don't talk about wrestling, we need to remember that wrestling is the one thing that we all have in common and that brings us together. And we need to make that entertaining for you guys. So that's what we're going to do. And it's our job to make sure that whatever we talk about, have a way to engage with it and understand it and appreciate it. We're not going to get deep into Star Wars stuff. And if we ever do like a special podcast, we'll signpost that as well. But ideally, I'd like you to be able to listen to every show. We also, worth calling out, we're probably not going to be weekly just because life is busy now. And we don't want to burn ourselves out either. But we'll be here for the big weeks. But generally, we're aiming for once every 2 weeks. So the best thing you can do is subscribe if you haven't already, whatever the way you get your podcasts is, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. And that's the way new episodes, as they're released, will get delivered directly. Or follow us on our socials, and you'll see, you'll be very clear when we have new shows. The last thing I think it's important to remember is we're Low Blows. And since we began running events in 2012, we've come to make that mean something very defined to the people who know us, and something that connects with people even if they don't know us and hear us for the first time. And if you listened to the old shows, or even if you're a newer listener who's found us through the party since we rebooted, we have a style and a tone that we're always going to follow. So everything you hear will be the low blow style that we've just kind of done the first 10 minutes on, of having a fucking laugh, slagging each other, but also just enjoying being wrestling fans and the community that that gives us, considering that most of us would have started our wrestling journeys in a community of one. And the likes of Low Blows have given us a whole community of friends and people we've met. I decided to join wrestling. I went down to Irish Whip wrestling training, and that's how I met Gerry. And 20 years later, we're now doing a podcast together about wrestling, and we're still mates. That's what I want to do. I want to give that tone and that sense of community, and like give us kind of the like help you find your people and represent that and be your people, because guys, we are your people. And lads, we're fucking delighted to be back. So Gerry, let's fucking do this. End the ad before we get on to what we're going to discuss for the show.
No. Well, I just want to comment on one thing that you did said, is that we're not here for the drama. We're not here to cause fights or anything. It's going to be a massive fight come episode 2 because Katie Harvey's going to come in and knock the bollocks out of me.
Yeah, I said I'm not going to start fights. So basically, I'm not going to talk about Joker Bray. That's what I meant when I said talk. Gerry just did a spit take. That I'm not. I said I'm not going to talk about him, Gerry. I'm not. I'm over it. It's fine. He's like,
Okay.
it's grand. There's no need. It's fine. I'm not going to talk about them. But Gerry, I can't speak for Gerry. Maybe Gerry will come. He's already come out swinging. Like he literally came out and just on the first episode called Katie Harvey poor for some reason. I don't think she's poor, man. I don't think that's a thing. Like, where did you get that from? Very personal comment, like Jesus. Okay, good stuff. Guys, we have the Royal Rumble this weekend, and of course we have our Royal Rumble first ever all-day party where because say what you want about the Saudis, like again, human rights record, not great. Attitude towards women, not great. Murdering journalists, yeah, they dabble in it from time to time, but their time zone, fucking deadly, right? The one thing you can say about them, great time zone, which means that the Royal Rumble airs this Saturday at 7 p.m. So we're going to have a party from 4 p.m. in the Woolshed. We're going to have a party beforehand, and then we're going to have a party until late afterwards as well. The one thing I'm coming on to say is this is usually where we plug it and tell you to come along. If you don't have tickets, I'm specifically saying don't come along. Like, please don't, because we don't have tickets left. It sold out last week. Everyone's getting on. I had to change the away message on Low Blows to be like, if you're looking for Royal Rumble tickets, we don't have any. I'm telling you, please do not come down. Gerry, last year we sold out as well. You had people come down and you had to turn them away at the door, didn't you?
Yeah, this is the thing about these nights, especially the ones that sell out, is that if you come up, I have to have the unfortunate job of telling you, I'm really sorry, I don't have any tickets on the door. I can't let you in. And then you try and go around me to somebody else. So you'll go to Jimmy, who's also on the door, or you'll go to the barman, or you'll go to the guy on the security guy on the door. I would just not let us. No, like, there's literally no room. Are you trying to get us fucking shut down by the fire marshal here? We can only allow so many people into the fucking pub. That's as simple as that. So please, if you have tickets, great. We love it. We love it. We can't wait to see you on Saturday. If you don't have tickets, fuck off.
or come to another show and maybe
Or
buy
come to another
tickets.
show and give us your money for
Yeah,
that show.
there you
That's
go.
fine.
We're getting them in the habit, guys. Don't worry about it.
But for this one, fuck off.
You do. You get some weird ones. Like, well, guys, please don't show unless you have tickets. For the people that have tickets, we're gonna make sure it's an amazing night. We're doing this to make sure that you're comfortable and you have the best night, and you aren't put out by us overpacking it as well. Because it's important to make sure everyone has a Royal Rumble to remember, and that's what we're gonna do. We've got party starts from 4 p.m. We've got WWE team DJ set. I have some bangers. I dug them out today as well, and I'm like, so I can't wait for everyone to listen to it. With the Royal Rumble raffle as well. We have a few raffle tickets left as well. Please don't buy raffle tickets unless you're going, because you won't be able to claim a prize, which is free drink. But we give everyone who's in the raffle a number in both Royal Rumbles, and then if that number wins, they get free drink. We're going to be doing the draw live on stage for that as well, so you'll know kind of before the Rumbles what your numbers are. And then we're going to be getting into a Royal Rumble table quiz where you can play on your phone, and the winner gets free drink for that. You get prizes. You can play by the stage. You just enter on your phone, and then it's great crack. Our Royal Rumble quizzes people always love, the table quizzes in general. Then we've the Royal Rumble from 7 p.m. and then afterwards you're going to be locked. You're going to have been drinking since 4 p.m. You're just going to want to listen to a bit of tunes. We're going to have music bingo to wrap up the night. It is going to be an absolutely unreal night. And do you know the best part, Gerry? We're going to be out of there and on the bus home about 1 a.m. when the pay-per-views usually start. So fucking unreal.
Let me rephrase that. You will. I'll be at home in bed and I'll be done.
Gerry leaves the second he clocks off. He might stay for one drink.
Goodbye.
No, fair play. The real heroes, the guys at the door as well. Like, again, you got to consider they're giving up their party experience. Like, again, this is, and I want to do a show at one stage where we compare stories from Low Blows past, because you and me we've done this for 14 years together, but because you're on the door and I'm on the stage, we've completely different experiences. So I think it'd be fun to do that on air, but we have a lot to discuss. Usually, because the Royal Rumble is this weekend, we discuss the Rumble, but I was talking to my housemate, who's a very casual wrestling fan, and he was we were talking about how I'm running the event and stuff like that, and he was asking me, and he's like, what's going on at the Rumble? Like, what should I be looking out for? And I'm like, well, AJ Styles is against Gunther, and if he loses that, he has to retire, and that might happen, so that's going to be good. There's not much else. Like, it's really unpredictable. I don't know who's going to win and stuff like that as well. So there's not much we can really discuss about the card itself, because they've kind of set it up where we'll know what the road to WrestleMania looks like a bit better afterwards, but they've kind of kept everything behind. So there's not much to actually get into. Fortunately, WWE went out. I said this night is going to be unreal in Woolshed on Saturday. They went out and put out an unreal TV series on Netflix last week. Season 2 of WWE Unreal aired on Netflix. We've watched it all. So we're going to give you our thoughts to kind of kick us off for wrestling content on the new look show. One thing I do want to bring over, because it's important that, like, again, sometimes it can be tough. Like, a lot of people will watch this as soon as it was released last Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever it was. It's important that we put you back in the mindset. But one thing I do want to bring over from the previous shows that me and Gerry have done is we discovered through them shows that Gerry actually has a secret talent. And the reason that he has this talent is because of multiple talents that he doesn't have, such as the ability to remember names or remember things that happened. Or anything like that. And usually when we'd be planning these shows, we'd be talking about, say, whatever happened in Star Wars, or Lord of the Rings, or whatever we wanted to discuss then. I get these long voice notes from Gerry that would fucking have me cracking up, because he'd be like, ah, Jesus, what happened with your man? And then over there, and then, where were they? I can't fucking remember. And I said to him one time, I'm like, Gerry, can you just recap everything that happened in that episode? And he's like, I won't remember any of it. And I go, I know, but I've got the voice notes where you do this, and it's fucking hilarious. So, to put us back into the mindset of WWE Unreal, we're going to bring Gerry's chaotic recaps to Low Blows. Gerry, WWE Unreal Season 2, you watched it probably around a week ago now. What do you remember? Put us all back in the mindset with a picture-perfect recap of everything that went on exactly as it did.
Okay. Wait a minute. Did I watch the show? I don't think I watched it. I can't remember watching it. Okay, right. Listen, when it comes to this show, I'll try and do this as short as possible, because I did watch it a week ago. I texted you. Did you watch it? I haven't watched it yet. Oh, I watched it. It's great. And now I can't remember fucking half of it. Well, that's why you like me fucking doing this. Okay. No, I do. I have. Where's my music? Where's my music? What's going on?
I'll put music in and relax.
Are you and your post bollocks? I swear to God, I tell you what, if this was Don Marnell or Katie Harvey, you'd have the fucking music ready. Wouldn't you?
You're not getting fucking music, right? You're getting nothing now. No, you're getting nothing now. No, go on. You go. Raw dog it. Go on. Dog it.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you come to the show on Saturday, we have loads of tickets on the door. No problem at all. We bring you all.
No, we don't.
All in. Everybody. If you're underage, come the fuck in. Absolutely. If you're part of the clergy, come on the fuck in. We'll get you in, and we make everything fucking holy. Don't touch them fucking kids, though. Now. So WWE Unreal. We're going into season 2. Very, very fucking excited for season 2. Absolutely going into it, looking great. You get to see who's going to be in it. So you've got Seth, you've got Becky, you've got Lyra, you've got Chelsea Green, you've got R-Truth, you've got Jelly Roll, and you've got Penta. We go into the show thinking this is going to be absolutely great. The very first thing you hear is, I really don't want to be part of the show. Why the fuck are you on it then, you stupid bastard? Seth Rollins, I love you. You're a great wrestler, probably one of the best of all time, but you're coming in here saying, I don't want to be part of this show because kayfabe means so much to me. Well, then why are you part of it, you stupid fuck? Oh, lots of zeros there, was there? I'm sure there fucking was, you dozy little bollocks. And then he goes, I don't want to be part of it. I do want to be part of it. I don't want to be part of it. I do want to be part of it. Then there's a little thing with him and Paul Heyman where they're whispering, I hope Punk gets the shit beat out. I'm like, is it kayfabe or is it not kayfabe? Just tell us what the fuck is going on here. Like, seriously, come on. Then we have fucking Becky Lynch, and I'm like, this is the best I've ever seen of Becky Lynch because she's been as common as fuck, and it's absolutely brilliant. And she's like my hot husband, but she says it in such a Dublin accent. I was like, wow, that's you really are Dublin. And she just
fucking. Your Becky Lynch impression.
I am not doing a Becky Lynch impression because just on the off chance that this is a wrestling podcast, and we may one day fucking interview her. I'm not even going to try it. No, I'll slag fuck out of her husband. No problem at all because he's a dozy bollocks. I love him, but he's a dozy bollocks. But I'm not going to slag her. Are you really going to? No. I went to school with her. I was 2 or 3 years ahead of her in school. So no, absolutely not. She was fucking scary.
I wonder if she tells people I went to school with Gerry O'Brien.
She did. No. She did because she knows.
I must have missed that in the autobiography.
I'm a big deal. I'm a big deal. Okay, I'm a big deal. I made the low blows. I mean, I didn't make the BBC. I made the low blows. Right. So we've got Becky Lynch. We've got Lyra. Absolutely brilliant. They go on about how great their match was, and it was. Their fucking match was great, and they go to the second match. And it's just devastating to see what happens to the poor fucking two. Like, Becky's used to it. Becky knows what she's doing. She's absolutely fantastic. Poor Lyra is only in this a wet day, so she gets very fucking upset over it. But at the end of the day, she's getting praise left, right, and centre. She is one of the best on the fucking roster. It's as simple as that. 2 of the best Irish women's wrestlers ever. They're there. They're on this fucking show. Watch it just for that, because believe me, it's fucking great. It is absolutely amazing. You've got then Chelsea Green. Poor Chelsea Green. She's a champion. She's not a champion. Champion, not champion. She's doing it now. Breaks her nose about 57 million fucking times, and she still looks as well as she does. And I'm like, how? How the fuck? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you? Stop breaking your fucking nose. Well, okay, I'm glad you're breaking her nose on that anything fucking else, but okay, that's fine. Absolute batshit crazy. She's building a gaff, and I'm like, this is going to be here and there. It's just fucking concrete now, you dozy bollock. Get to the wrestling, will you? Don't give a fuck about your house. Just get to the wrestling. For fuck's sake. Then you get to R-Truth, and I'm like, the most confusing fucking situation. And we know what happened. You sacked the chap. And oh no, we didn't sack him, but it was just a bit of confusion, and we didn't sack him, and he wasn't being sacked. Fuck off, you sacked him. Stop being fucking sacks of shit. You sacked him, okay? Poor Road Dog is in fucking bits. Oh, he lost me. He's back 5 minutes later. Calm the fuck down.
I didn't know.
I didn't know. Yeah, didn't know my bollocks. Ask me, shy. Yeah, okay. This is Unreal and it's all true. Fuck off, ask me, shy. Then you've got Jelly Roll, the man who was a huge big man, and now he's just a big man. And my God, did they lose some weight? Huge big man, he's just a big man now. But my God, they lose some weight. But this is the thing. This is what wrestling means to so many people. When you get somebody like him, doesn't matter if he's a celebrity or not. He comes in, he busts his ass, he goes to training, he loses, 300 pounds or something like that. He's down the lightest he's ever been. He goes in, he does a little bit in the ring, then he says, Noah, I'm going to be in a fucking match. Gets in the match. Actually does a really good fucking job for somebody who's as green as the fucking Hulk. Absolutely does a great job. I hope to see him back because he was great in this show. He was great on, SummerSlam, yeah. right at SummerSlam. Absolutely fantastic. We love Jelly Roll. The crowd loves Jelly Roll. I hope to see him back because he was absolutely brilliant. Then you've got the sheer most amount of fucking cursing that I've ever heard, including what I've just done on this, and we're only on this 20 minutes or half an hour. The most amount of cursing I've ever heard. And of course, Paul fucking Heyman. Oh, this Penta fella, he's fucking great. Isn't he fucking great? Penta's fucking great. We should do something with fucking him. Oh yeah, do fucking shut the fuck up and just do it, will you? And then of course he's another sniveling little bitch as well. I didn't want to be part of this show because kayfabe means so much to me. You could have said no, but you didn't. So shut up and just shave your fucking head. For fuck's sake.
He's not letting it go, Jesus.
No, I'm not letting it go. And that's unreal.
Hey, it was unreal. Unreal stuff, Gerry. Great stuff. Fair play. Chaotic as ever, but
we're getting cancelled. That's good. Cease and
I
desist
actually
from
was like, yeah, he's
WWE.
covered everything. You got it. You got it. I think you got it. Okay, Gerry, you sound like you had a lot of fun with that. Like, I was trying to gauge it, and I know you were having a bit of a rant, but that's just who you are fundamentally as a person. What did you think about the series? Did you seem like you enjoyed it?
This is the thing about Unreal. I think Unreal is a really fantastic show. Unreal is not for people who aren't in the know. Unreal is not for people it's not for kids and stuff like that. It's for people who know exactly what wrestling is. Wrestling is real, but it's not. You know, and we all know that. It is very much a real competitive thing. You get in there, people get injured. It's very, very tough. You know that, I know that. We trained for years. It is something that is very, very real. But when it comes to the other stuff, we can let the cat out of the bag at this point. It's not the 70s or 80s anymore. Like, Mike, I'll never forget the fact, like, my grandfather, who at the time, I remember I was watching Royal Rumble 98, and he's literally on the edge of his seat. And I'm like, he still thinks this is real. I'm like a kid. I'm like 12 or 13 years old. I know this is like scripted and shit like that, but he, my 70-odd-year-old grandfather at the time hadn't a clue. So it's not like back in the day. This is very much something that we know what's going on, but we don't. And I like the fact as well is that they're kind of using Unreal to really fuck with you as well, because they're saying stuff is true, but it's like, I think they're lying here now as well. I was like, what the hell is going on here? This is why it's so good. What I actually don't get, right? I'm like, are they just trying to kayfabe us that it's not kayfabe? But the stuff that the likes of Seth and Paul Heyman said, they don't like it. They don't want to be part of it. Why are you part of it? I didn't get that part. That's the thing. It was like, Punk came out and said he didn't want to be part of it. So you only saw him in the background when he was planning a match, doing whatever he was doing, winning a title, and then Seth Rollins comes and take it off. So you only see exactly, but there's one
scene every series where he's like, "Thank you, Daddy. I mean Triple H," and there's one scene every series. I just feel so bad for Punk. Like, I don't even dislike the guy anymore. I just feel bad for him. I'm just like, I think Triple H has assumed the role of his father. Like, I'm like, this is weird. But yeah, sorry, getting off on a tangent.
Just a little bit. But this is the thing: if you don't want to be part of it, don't be part of it. So they're obviously playing a game with us, and then this is what this show is. Obviously, a lot of this is actually dominated by Triple H, and I get that because he is the head honcho now. But I'm saying to myself, I'm not even going to say his name. I don't want to say his name, but the previous guy, he wouldn't have done a show like this in the first place. And if he did, he wouldn't have been as prominent as Triple H is. Now, I didn't hate it because we're getting to see a lot of things. I like looking at the booking. I genuinely do, because I used to be one. I used to book shows. You used to book shows. So it's a thing where it's nice to see exactly, and the conflict that they have as well. Like, poor Road Dogg. Everything is just steamrolled. I'm like, no, your ideas are shite. What the fuck are you doing there then? It's just it's so strange to see it like that. Michael Hayes is a weirdo. Like, honest to God, he's a fucking strange chap. He really, really is.
One of my notes that I wrote was, and I'll read it out verbatim here, right? I said, I feel if Michael Hayes hadn't found wrestling, he'd be wheeling around a trolley full of trash. Like, it's one or the other. It's that. And there's no middle ground. It's either a wrestling superstar. Do you know what he is? Another thing I wrote down is Michael Hayes is a human fucking watermark. Like, he's something that, like, nothing good can happen that he's a part of, where he's not like, I did that, look at it, I did that, that's all me. Like, yeah, it is. It's weird. It's like a throwback, but it's interesting because, again, it's like, Oh, there's still people like you around, so I don't know if I'd fully say wrestling's changed yet, but it is.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
But honest to God, I think the show is fantastic, and the fact that they are focusing on, there are people on the show that we haven't known much about. You know, like the likes of Penta. You don't really know that much about Penta. We haven't really known much about, unless you're actually a music fan of his. You don't really know much about Jelly Roll. So to see how he was in this show, and then the preparation, Jesus, the prep
I
he
feel
did
like
just
you've
to
become a huge Jelly Roll fan.
I
I
have.
think.
I genuinely have, and it's because it. I always thought his music was good, but then when you see what he does here in wrestling, like I remember watching the show in the Woodshed and actually seeing him perform, and I'm like, you know what, this guy isn't half bad. Like this is to me, it's like another Logan Paul coming in. Like Logan Paul, he's really proven himself. He really, really fucking has. He deserves to be there. He's absolutely busting his ass. He's going in there, like him or hate him. You know, him and his brother are fucking Egypt. But at the end of the day, he's getting in there, and my God, can he perform? And I feel like Jelly Roll continues to lose the weight, continues to train. He could be, you know, he's not going to be a Logan Paul, but he could get in there and actually have a good fucking match. And, you
Sure.
know, this is the thing about Jelly Roll. It's the passion that he has for it. Like the way he interacted with Triple H and all backstage, like, I did this. I got to do, I want to do more. We're going to see Jelly Roll again, 100%, I guarantee. We are going to see him again. I think he's going to continue on that journey. You've got these big personalities in as well. The likes of Seth. You know, Seth was, even though he said he didn't want to be part of it, he's still really good in it. How they got away with the deception of the injured leg. Jesus Christ, like that's there's a lot there. Like,
That for me is when the show is at its best.
yeah.
Like, I'm not going to turn around. I think you're a little bit higher than I was at this. Like, for example, the Jelly Roll stuff. I'm going to be honest. A lot of it, I was like, right. I checked my phone and I had it on the background, and I was like, it didn't engage me that much. It
Mm.
was like the Jelly Roll episode. I think it was episode 4 was the one I was most checked out of, and there was points where I was checked out of it. There was parts where I feel like season 1 was brilliant because, like you, I'm nosy. Do you know what I mean? I just like to see inside their homes. Like I just like to see what their homes are like and judge them and stuff like that as well. Kind of in
Well,
a
Chelsea
critical.
Green's home was fucked anyway because no roof or nothing. So,
Yeah, I'm like, where do you sleep, Chelsea? Jesus.
yeah.
But no, I think like, and season 1 was brilliant because they were caught off guard. That you could tell that the Drive to Survive crew very much ran that show, and they ran it the way it was, and WWE just were there, and they were just the cameras were there, and it felt more raw as a result in kind of a beyond the mat type way, where it didn't feel like manufactured. Now it's more established, and I think WWE are more established on Netflix. It feels a bit more controlled by WWE. Like they're getting to control the narrative, and I enjoy that part a little less, particularly when it comes to the R-Truth stuff that we'll discuss as its own kind of topic. Having said that, like this show's always going to work for me because it's like even little things like I know we're slagging Seth Rollins, right? And I never really had much time for Seth Rollins. Like great wrestler, but as a person I just never found a reason to connect with him. And then in 2 seconds, like, so news in my life is that over Christmas period I became an uncle for the first time. So my sister had a little baby, and so I'm big into like childcare and stuff now. I'm just obsessed with it, like, because it's real to my world, and it's just something that I'm learning about through my sister's experience and so on. And seeing Seth with Rue for like 2 seconds, and just I'm like, and it's very clear you can see in 2 seconds if someone's a good caring dad and nurturing and this and that and the other, and he had it, and I'm like, that alone made me like Seth more than anything I've ever seen, any interview I've ever heard him do. Like the personal side of it, I'm like, right, I'm in on Seth Rollins now. He's a good dad, and that is something that right now I respect very highly, you know. Then there's other stuff which is just elite. Like I love stuff like the Money in the Bank cuts. They did it for the Royal Rumble the last time. Do you know the way to do the seamless cuts? And that's what I want from a show like this on Netflix. I want like to see wrestling in a way that I've never seen it cut before, because it should be. It shouldn't be just us watching highlights the same way we would if they were on Raw. This is the Netflix sheen to it, and they really do present it in a really exciting way. I love the continuous cuts from spot to spot as they pan the camera around the ring. It's brilliant to watch. Then there's stuff like where I think the show is at its absolute best is with stuff like the Seth Rollins storyline in the last episode. where there's this great storyline that they did at SummerSlam, and we've obviously experienced that. We're in the Woodshed for it last August, so we experienced that as fans. Now we get to flip the camera and we get to be in on the like work, and we get to see it from their point looking outwards, and then you see the other fan reactions, who we also identify with it, having experienced that ourselves a few months ago. But now we're in on the kind of thing. That stuff I could watch it all day. Catnip. I'm like, so there are elements where the show really works for me, and there are elements that I think get left on the table. Like the control the narrative part. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about our truth, because I think that is a part WWE were very much trying to control, right? And Triple H. I want to talk about Triple H a lot in this because, like, I was never a Triple H hater, right? Before I joined wrestling in 2005, I would have written about wrestling. I wrote for a Fox Sports wrestling website essentially, and 411 Mania, if anyone knows it as well. Um, and like it was very much at the height of Triple H is taking over post the invasion angle. Austin's gone, Rock is gone. Everyone's a bit sick of Triple H. The word on him is he puts others down and keeps himself on top. And look, hey, 20 years later, he's still all over. They on Raw, they just released like the WWE 2K26 with him all over it. Like it's like and then they pretended like he didn't know, like Paul Heyman did it as a surprise for him. I'm like, no, you pitched this idea. We know you for decades, Hunter. We know this. We know what you're like. But I've been ambivalent towards him, and I liked him as a performer, and I used to defend him a lot. WWE Unreal and a lot of the work he's done since taking over as the head of creative has put me right off him. I cannot stand the man right now. Like, and the R-Truth stuff is exactly why he just like for all the stuff like you had, and I want to get into the Lyra Valkyria stuff as well. And I just had so much respect for her owning the fact that she had a bad match. And there's so much of that in there, and I respect the wrestlers that can own when something goes wrong, and they're like, "Yeah, that's on me. I gotta learn," and you don't learn unless you do it. No one's ever taught Triple H that lesson because that man cannot admit he's ever made a mistake in his life. Do you know what I mean? And then what he does when he makes a mistake is he tries to gaslight everyone. Tries to gaslight the entire planet. You referred to this already, where it's just like, you know, there are a lot of things go wrong in the business. You know, if and then he tries to like play on that whole thing of like, you wouldn't understand because you're not in the business. You know, I can see how it looks to the outsider, but when you're in this business, you know, he wasn't released. We were talking about a contract and we decided not to renew. And then, yes, he didn't come to work on Monday. And yes, it was our decision, but we did not release our truth. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, you're literally describing a thing and then telling us it's not the thing you just described. Literally, if Triple H was talking about fucking grass, he'd be like, grass is a color between yellow and blue, but if you're in the pro wrestling industry, you'll know that grass is not green. And it's like, it fucking is. It fucking is. I know what that is. I know what color grass is, you cunt. Like, what are you lying to me for? Like, that's the Triple H experience. I cannot stand him. And I just felt so bad for R-Truth because we literally lived it with him where his head was just fucked the entire time. And all of a sudden he went from feuding with John Cena to, I think I DJ'd the 21st in the building he did his rap album release. I think like, you know what I mean? And it's like just overnight, it's like gone from one extreme to another. And then WWE are trying to control the narrative and make it sound like he was greedy and he wanted more money. It really put a sour taste in my mouth. What did you think of the whole R-Truth firing bit?
When it came to that, you knew it was total bullshit. As soon as you watch it, you're like, this, this is bollocks. Just own it. Just say we released him. We made a mistake. We brought him back. That's all you have to say. We'd actually respect you a lot better if you did. We're like, no, we didn't release him. We just decided not to renew his contract, and then this contract was gone. But we were the bigger people, and we brought him back. I'm like, no, you sacked the man. You thought you were going to get away with it. You didn't get away with it. It took the president of the company to go and talk to him to get him to come back because you fucked up. And that's the part of the show that
admit they got stuff wrong.
No,
like they had a perfect time to admit at the end of the episode. Like they ended on the John Cena face turn, okay, which hadn't been featured throughout the entire series, but that was the main event of SummerSlam, and SummerSlam was what they were covering. And it was a perfect opportunity to just say, it didn't work out as we. You don't even have to say we got it wrong, because I don't think the John Cena heel turn was a total failure. It was interesting to watch him be a heel for a few months. I'm glad we got that experience. I enjoyed stuff like the pipe bomb. I've got good memories of a lot of things from that heel run. You don't even have to say we fucked it all up. You just have to say we had a plan, the plan didn't work out. And that's true, because whatever his name is, Travis Scott pulled out at the last minute. The Rock just had this great idea, took over the entire WrestleMania main event and never showed up again, and just fucking railroaded things. Like, he railroads every project he's in these days. Why people work with The Rock, I don't know. He's a fucking nightmare. But they have a good reason to just say, we didn't get this right. But instead, they have to bullshit you, and they have to be like, he's just too good of a babyface. The people just want to cheer him to him. And it's like, stop lying to me. Stop telling me like I lived this. It's not 20 years ago where we've kind of forgotten and you have this like grace period. It's a few months ago. I remember how I felt when I was watching all of this. It's fine. We don't care. But you're actually pissing us off by trying to control the narrative. Which gets me into kind of something else I want to pick your brain on. Because you and I right now, as well as low blows, we both work day jobs and we work in like a corporate environment, okay? So this is somewhere where we have like an interesting insight in comparison to the corporate environment that's presented to us because we got inside booking meetings. And I know you were saying you're really interested. I want to get your thoughts on the meetings and just the things you picked up on, like, because you probably watched it like me with the lens of, oh, that's a weird thing to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, so what were your thoughts on like the corporate culture and environment that we got a glimpse into between this and last season?
To me, when you look at those booking meetings, you think it's going to be like a proper team thing, and it's not really a team thing. It's like somebody come up with an idea that's great, and a lot of people can agree with them. But ultimately, if Triple H decides to go one way, go his own way, he'll go his own fucking way.
Yeah.
What I didn't like as well as that how they pretty much ganged up on Road Dogg. I fucking hated that. Absolutely hated that. The man has legitimately good ideas, and it's very clear he does. And it's just no. Oh, okay.
Mm.
Well, I'll just go fuck myself then. So will I? I did not like that one
Have you ever
fucking
been the
bit.
person in the meeting where you're like, this meeting just isn't working for me. Like whatever I say, they're just gonna say no. That's what I felt
Yeah,
Road Dogg was. Like
yeah.
whatever he said, everyone in that room was just gonna say, nah, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? And my heart went out to him. And again, Road Dogg's someone I'm fairly ambivalent about, but I was like, whatever he pitches, they're just set up, and it's
Yeah.
a toxic culture. Is what I saw in WWE. It is, and do you know where you notice this play out? And it deviates downwards, okay? First off, I don't think anyone in that company likes Triple H. Do you know what I mean? And I
Mm.
noticed this in season one, right? Because like he did little things like he goes up to Rhea Ripley after the match and he kind of puts his head on her head. Do you know what I mean? In a really
Yeah.
intimate way that you should never do in the workplace. But wrestling, I'll accept slightly different. They're half naked, you know, they wrestle, it's very intimate. So okay, I'll turn around and say not appropriate, but also wrestling maybe that makes it appropriate. Okay. Um, but like Rhea's not reciprocating that. Like no one is reciprocating his closest. He's trying to present as the cool boss. And like nobody is like everyone's just kind of giving you know when like you think your boss is a wanker, but he's your boss, so you have to be nice to him. Everyone's just like, yeah,
Yeah,
no,
you.
yeah, no, that's a great idea. And they're just kind of like giving him the quickest answer, just yes, saying yes to whatever he says, so we'll get the fuck away. Because they're nervous about him because they don't want to say the wrong thing. And where you also see it deviate down is the road agents, right? This is such, and where you get a toxic corporate culture is where blame
Oh,
culture starts to come out. Anytime someone has a bad match, I feel so bad because what we learned about what happens in WWE, and I don't think they even know this is a bad thing, but anyone who works in a corporate environment looks at that and goes, it's shocking, is the road agents just turn around. They're like, oh, well, they're not doing what I said. Oh, look, that's so fucking shit. And they just shit on them. They just shit on them. If it isn't working out, Chris Parks, like Tyson Kidd, probably good guys. But what that speaks to is a culture of fear. They're afraid for their jobs. They're afraid of just. So no one in that company in the corporate section can turn around and say, yeah, look, that was me. We had an idea. It didn't work out. Or they didn't execute. But look, it's understandable. Like, we know wrestling. We know you go out sometimes and you have an idea, and then the second you go out, it's just instinctive. As soon as you know how to feel a crowd, you'll just walk out in front of a crowd and you go, that idea is not going to work. So you just change, and
Yeah.
it's fine to change. That's actually the mark of a good professional. But like the second people start going off script, the road agents just throw them under the bus. They can't defend themselves. They can't give their side of the story. And then as soon as they get back, like, they spend the entire match shitting on like Becky and Lyra, right? And then
Yeah.
the second Becky gets back and she's like, yeah, that wasn't great. And everyone's like, no, it was great. You know what I mean? No, give her a chance to defend. Say what you were saying to her 2 seconds ago so she can defend or explain or kind of come up with it. You know what I mean? Don't shit on her in the back and say, I don't know why this match is so shit. And then as soon as you see her, be like, it was great. And it just speaks to a culture of fear and unprofessionalism. And you know where else I found it was unprofessional, right? And this is a pet peeve of mine in a meeting environment. Do you see where they were like, this goes back to Road Dogg and his ideas pitching. Do you see where they were pitching ideas and Triple H, and this is a massive pet peeve, dialed in while he's traveling, like from a car or something, right?
Mhm.
I hate when people do that because what they're trying to do, and again, consider this is the boss. It's fair enough if it's like a crisis situation, all hands on deck, something's after going wrong, we need to get all the important people together. That's fine. That's the only time it's acceptable. He is everyone's boss here. This is a routine, like creative meeting. Do one of two things. Either one, reschedule the meeting for a time you can actually be present in the meeting, or two, delegate down and trust the people that you've empowered in the positions to be able to carry out the job you need. Just give high level notes and then allow them to execute it. And then you can come up with a time later where they can pitch you the ideas and so on. That's how a working culture works because you can trust the people. Like the mark of a good team is they're still a good team even if you're not there. You don't need to micromanage everything. But like, it's like you said, but like the person that dials in, like what they're doing is it's a power move and they're going, I'm so important that even while I'm doing important things on the road, this meeting can't go ahead without me. And
Yeah.
it's just like, no, you're just a cunt. You're just a cunt. You just really wanted everyone to see how important you were that you had to dial in because something was going on. We're not in COVID anymore. We're not doing hybrid. You're back in the office. Like, just
Mm.
fucking be present. Because again, you can't be present in a meeting when you're on the road because you're watching the fucking road. And he wasn't present in that meeting. Like, Road Dogg is trying to explain R-Truth wants to cut his hair because this, and this. And Triple H is only half listening and he's like, oh, what? What? That's shit. No, we're not doing. Why does he want to do that? And he's just shouting and berating his employees in front of everyone. And then the room turns on them because they're all afraid. They've got this fear culture in WWE. And the best part is they've no idea. They think that they're really impressive because they've a boardroom and they've meetings and they have a whiteboard and they put their ideas in the whiteboard. And they're like, look at us, all important and businessy. But actually, anyone who works in a normal actual healthy culture, a corporate environment will go, you lads are fucking jokers. I don't know. That was my impression. What was your thought on the corporate culture of WWE?
I didn't like there is a lot of the backstage stuff that you genuinely don't like. You like to hear from the wrestlers. You really do. You like to see it from their perspective. The likes of Chelsea Green, the likes of Seth and Lyra and Becky. And I put it this way, I really did like the stuff from Lyra and Becky. There was a comment that was made there the other day. I think it was actually I might have been watching Raw or maybe one of the shows last week, but it was Wade Barrett said it that the Irish dominance of WWE is evident, and it really really is. You don't have to have 20 or 30 Irish wrestlers there to be dominant. You just have the best fucking wrestlers there to be dominant, and it
Mm.
was great to see that part of it. It's great to see two like somebody that we've seen come up from the very beginning. Like I saw when Lyra was first training, and then of course
See,
she played
both
my
of them.
daughter. Yeah, she Lyra played my daughter at one point. Literally
Yeah.
for 2 shows she was my daughter. I'm like, Christ almighty, I'm not that fucking old. But you know,
I think you
it's absolute. It's shut the fuck up. It is great to see, but then you see the other side of it, and it's nasty. It really is. I don't think they realized just how nasty it was. I think they put that out and went, "Don't we look great? Aren't we
yeah.
fucking deadly?" No, you really aren't. You absolutely shit over like the co-head writer of fucking SmackDown because he did one idea, and you shit all over him, and then everyone else shit all over him, and then you've got like when it comes to is it Chris Park or Joseph Park? What's his name?
Chris Parks.
Chris Parks.
Yeah, yeah.
I do feel sorry for him because all he wants to do is make sure that the match goes okay and everything is going okay, and then something goes wrong and he panics. Like he absolutely panics, and it's not Triple H. He'll obviously go and apologize to Triple H, but it's not him. He's worried about. He's not worried about Triple H because Triple H will go, "Don't worry about it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine." Whereas what's
Bruce Pritchard.
Bruce Pritchard.
Because
Oh,
he's terrified, and we know how to read that.
what? I'm sorry. Whatever you want to say about Triple H, Pritchard is a wanker.
But that's
Absolute
exactly
wanker.
why. Because we know that guy. Because Triple H is the person in the room with the power, right? And he's right there, and he's saying it's fine, right? What? And I agree. I didn't like the blame culture, but I don't necessarily blame the agents for it.
No.
They're just a product of the environment, you know?
Yeah.
What he's afraid of there is he knows Triple H forgives him right now. But he also knows that Bruce Pritchard is the little guy who gets in the boss's ear like me, 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 me.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got to make a hole with Bruce, so Bruce doesn't turn Triple H on him and say, "This is why it's actually." Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's the little backstabbing, backbiting way that they don't realize they're revealing yet.
It was worse in season one. What you saw with Parks and Pritchard. What happened? I can't even remember what match it was, but all he kept doing was apologize.
Yeah.
And Triple H said it was fine, but Bruce Pritchard came, well,
Yeah.
that's all he did. And like, all I want to do now is go up to Bruce Pritchard and fucking smack him. I'm like, fuck off. Like,
And
I'm like,
it was a
you
few years ago,
sniveling
mate.
little bastard. Like,
It was a few years ago, mate, that you were in the wool shed yourself, and you sold less tickets than we did for the Royal Rumble on Sunday. So calm your fucking tits. Do you know what I mean? You barely filled Ned's. We filled Ned's for night one of SummerSlam. We needed to open up more space outside. You couldn't fucking fill it for your little talk show. So let's not pretend anyone's more important than anyone else here. Do you know what I mean? You've got there through fucking brown nosing.
I'm sorry. You just said all of that, right? And I instantly thought of it. Have you watched the movie The Gentleman? Yeah.
No.
You've never seen The Gentleman?
No.
Okay, Charlie Hunnam's in The Gentleman, right? I can't remember the context of it, right? But there's a quote in it, and we actually use it to slag a mate of mine. Just the way you said that about Pritchard was, "You couldn't lift a wheel of cheese, you cunt." That's a direct quote from that film. That's a direct quote from that film. You couldn't lift a wheel of cheese, you couldn't. Absolutely spot on. He thinks he's the bee's fucking knees because he's Triple H's number two. You're only his number two because you were the other fucker's number two. That's the only reason you're there. And when Triple H realizes that, you know, he'd probably be better off without you, he will get you the fuck out of there as quickly as fucking possible. The same as fucking Michael Hayes as well. Yeah. The sooner the better. The old guard are all completely gone, and we're left with new ones. And the one thing, and I'm telling you this now, this pissed me off when I was watching it because I didn't watch it properly in season one. So when I watched season two, I'm like, wait a minute, that booking committee, all of them that are on it, number one, they're all men. Number two, they're all white. Where's the black representation? Where's the women on it? Where are the women? Where's the women agents? Where's the women agents?
Donald Trump's America, and look,
you know what I mean.
That's not like this is Donald Trump's America, and that's a Donald Trump border. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the way it is. But that's a very, very good point. Yeah, it's very true. But and again, toxic corporate culture. Like right there, that's what's being painted. But again, it sounds like we're kind of giving out, but it's fascinating to see this. Like we enjoy seeing this insight and this stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
WWE think that they're controlling the narrative. They think that they're saying, didn't we do the right thing by our truth? Didn't we do that? And actually, we can see the cracks and stuff like that. Let's talk about the one, for me, massive positive from the whole thing and the massive success. You've touched on it already, and we've kind of hinted at it, but let's give it its time. This is amazing for the Irish. I
Yeah.
did not expect Laura Valkyria to get this amount of time. We knew Seth and Becky were going. They were doing a lot of promo running up to
Hmm.
it, and we'd seen clips and stuff. I didn't know she was going to get this amount. Like again, the season opened up, and within 10 minutes of the show being on, there's Fight Factory, there's fucking Debbie Keitel, there's CBL in the background. Do you know what I mean? CBL's going to be a fucking Woolshed. He was on Sunday. He was on Unreal fucking last week. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love this. I love this. It was fantastic. And I just thought you cannot put. I'm obviously going to say this. We're biased. But I genuinely don't think anyone can criticize anything. They looked brilliant. They gave a great account of themselves. And I just thought they did fantastic. I want to pick up on one thing, okay?
Yeah.
Because there is one person who isn't happy with how the Irish came across on that. And I don't know if you've seen this, but the person that's actually unhappy with how they came across and did an interview about it this week is Lyra Valkyria. And I get it, I get it. And I'll give you the quote as well, just to kind of
Yeah.
contextualize it. And I'm not going to criticize or Lyra or anything because, again, I'm saying that she came across amazingly. But I do want to discuss this, okay? Because the quote she said was, I don't know if I'm on board for this show. We did that SummerSlam interview months ago now, and I've been like, oh God, I don't know how that's going to come across when this all airs because I don't know. I like to feel in control of what I put out there. It's all thought of. It's all like, it's everything to us is like what we are, what we do on TV. So to have all these cameras in the back now, it's really raw, and you get an insight into so much that goes on behind the scenes that like we might not necessarily want you to see. I totally get where she's coming from.
Yeah.
And if we were in that position, having worked as hard as she got, having succeeded as much as she has, having carved out a spot, I probably would have had the same anxiety for her. Like
Mm.
she was very emotional in the moment. Her amygdala is probably triggered, so she's reacting out of emotion. She's not reacting out of like kind of sense and planning, and that's kind of what she's speaking to in that quote. I don't blame her if she's had anxiety for the past 5 months. But what I will say is that you can trust yourself. Like you can trust yourself.
Yeah.
Like that moment, the thing with like the thing I love about Unreal is I know some people who like have said to me where it's like their partner might not like wrestling that much, but they show them Unreal and they like reality TV, so they get into the characters that way and then they start watching wrestling through that. And you're opening them up to a whole new audience. Think about how much Formula One exploded after Drive to Survive. You're opening up people to a whole new audience, and that's the people that are seeing Lyra Valkyria. And the thing we know, but I don't know if people like in the wider space who only know her from WWE know this about Lyra is that she has a massive personality. She is hilarious. She's very real, very relatable. Like she came on like she like again, we know her like she's Katie Harvey's best friend. That's not a secret and so on. She used to come on to low. She used to come to Low Blows nights, and I think that's why people in Low Blows connect so much with her. Like when she comes
Yeah.
out, people chant "E fat, E fat." They're not doing it to be wankers. Like they're not doing it to real name her or anything. They're doing it because they feel like she's one of us. Because she
Yes.
literally used to come to the party. She is very much an everyman kind of person, and she has such a huge personality that I think actually she doesn't realize how good that comes across when she's a bit less guarded and a bit more loose. Because I think anyone rational looking at her in that moment wouldn't have turned. No one's going to turn around and say, "Ah, Jesus, why are you crying, love? What's going on? Jesus, relax." No one's going to say that. Everyone's going to say, "God love her. She's working so hard." And actually, look at all the positive things they've said about her. She's great. I actually really like her. I'm going to root for her more. And she probably connected with so much more people
Yeah.
than she ever has, like through that moment, through all of her character stuff. And I get, and that's the thing where people start to succeed. Like if you look at people who've shot up in terms of popularity over the past few years, Becky Lynch is an example, Chelsea Green is an example. They're the people who, when they're on character, stopped kind of being that it is a job environment, and as well we've seen it's a place full of snakes, you know what I mean? So backstage you have to stay professional, you have to do this, that, the other, but when the camera's on you can let go and you can show your personality. And the people that really succeed are the people that learn to trust that process. Like if you compare it to Chelsea Green in this, like Chelsea Green was just showing us around her house. And I don't think anyone asked her this question, but she just starts going on a big monologue about how am I going to be a mom? Like what's going to happen there? But like I'm rich, but like I want to have this life, but I'm only succeeding, blah, blah, blah. And like she just does, but she gives everything on camera. And that only makes us like her more. I
Yes.
think the thing, if I could send a message to Lyra Valkyria, I'm not gonna fucking DM her. She doesn't need a voice from some fucking jobber who never made it or anything like that and runs parties. But like, if I could genuinely say something, it is like, you are where you are because you are who you are. Do you know? You
Yeah.
don't need to put on a front. You don't need to control your image. There's no skeletons in your closet you need to worry about. People aren't going to reject you if you are fully yourself. When that red light is on, don't feel like you have to control it because that is probably one of the most likable and relatable moments. I love the part where at the end of the rant she was just like, now I'm just gonna get fucking ice cream and do it all again tomorrow. Fuck's sake, right, see you later. And she was much more dub and like you could just hear her. And I'm like, yes. I'm genuinely like, it's almost like watching an Austin 316 moment. I'm like, she's showing us who she is, and that's
Yeah.
the person that we all know and really like. You
Yeah.
don't need to overthink this, and you don't need to worry about this because you're a likable person. And the more people get to see that, the more they're gonna like you more. And I think this is just gonna be a big win for her.
Yeah.
And it was a big win for like Becky and Seth as well. I thought they came across great. I loved the Miss Joy story about like the
Ah,
Rue.
yeah.
Brilliant. They just
No,
all
Rue, you can't tell her no.
and then he's like, thanks, Miss Joy. I'm like, brilliant. They all came across brilliant. But what did you think
Yeah.
about the Irish influence? Because it was all over this.
When you look at, because obviously it's spread across a couple of episodes, not just one episode, but when it's spread across like that, you get to see an insight into everybody that's part of it. But we resonate more obviously with the Irish talent that are in it. So you've got Becky and you've got Lyra. You have that first match, and they're universally praised. They know they've done a good job. They know they've had a great match, and everything is perfect. And then you see the other side of the coin where it's a match that didn't go according to plan. It went over on time. Mistakes were made. They still did great things in the match. I thought, to me, parts of that match were still really fucking good. But you can see the two reactions from both of them. So obviously Becky's like, it's just another day. You have good days and you have bad days. I'm sorry, right? Do you think Ric Flair had a match of the night every time he wrestled? Do you think Stone Cold did? Do you think John Cena did? No, of course he didn't. These things happen, and sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. And I think Becky gets that because Becky is doing this a hell of a long time now at this stage, whereas Lyra's not as long, and she's not as long in somewhere like WWE.
The
So
stakes are
she's
higher for her as well. Like she's never
exactly,
had a SummerSlam match before. So
yeah.
like if she has a bad one, it's like, oh my God, 100% of my SummerSlam matches are bad. And like
Yeah.
again, that wasn't necessarily a bad match. It
It
just felt
wasn't. There
loose.
was just
It just
part.
felt
Yeah, exactly.
loose.
Yeah, there was parts
Yeah.
of it that okay, right, shit, that was bad or that was bad. But overall, it wasn't a bad match, and obviously a lot of emotions going into that match for both of them. So you've got Lyra's very first SummerSlam match. It's a big deal to her, and generally, when emotions are that high, you do tend to not be as tight as you would
Yeah.
expect to be.
Great
Then you've got
point.
the other side of it as well. You've got somebody like Becky who as you're watching, she's in the middle of the ring. They're going over the match, and she looks to a set of seats and she realizes the last time I was here, my
Yeah.
dad was there. My dad was there. So emotions are super high for the two of them. And you can obviously see, Becky, she's used to it. She's used to wrestling, whether it's going to be a good match or whether it's a bad match. And it wasn't a bad match, which was elements that weren't as good. It wasn't the greatest match in the world, but it wasn't awful. But the thing is, she can go in and go, that's grand, sweep it on the rug. It's fine. Let's get on with it. But obviously, look, this is something that's new to Laura. She's never been on that type of stage before. And she thinks, well, this is the end of it. I'm going to be released tomorrow. That's it.
Yeah.
And you can see that's going through her head. I'm getting released tomorrow. I'm fucked.
It
And
feels,
that's
and
not
that's
it.
what it feels like, even with the quote. And I just I hope that she will one day sit down. It's probably very raw right now, but I hope that one day she'll sit down and go, you actually came across really well, and you actually made a star of yourself. Because
Yeah.
I almost feel like it's like I hear a bit of imposter syndrome in what she's
Oh
saying,
God,
like
yes.
where she
Yeah.
needs to control it and stuff like that. And I get it. That's the most natural thing in the world for someone that young and that fresh at that stage of their career. Like I don't judge her for that. But it's also like you're not seeing what we're seeing. We're
Hmm.
like I'm looking at this as she's like it's mad because obviously like there's the empathetic side of me who knows her and just wants to like reassure her when I see her crying, but also there's the part of me that's looking at it from, well, what's this going to do for her career? And I'm like, oh my God, so many people are going to love her from watching
Yeah.
her just be this
It,
honest to the camera.
exactly.
She's giving
Exactly.
everything. I say it to everyone, like when we do lives, like I won't need to say it to you because you're experienced in life, but like whenever we've done like live shows and stuff before, and people have never done live in front of people, I go, remember, if you give everything of yourself to the crowd, they will give you everything back. And she is literally giving everything to them, and she'll get it back. Like she is going to be such a huge star from this, and she just needs to look at the amount of time. Look, Bailey didn't get to speak in this. She was in the background at times, but they weren't focused, and she was part of the story, but they didn't cut to her as an interview. They gave loads of time to Lyra, and that's what speaks to how much both WWE and Netflix, and again, Netflix again don't give a shit. They're not like we need to prep Lyra because in 5 years she's going to be the champion. They don't give a shit. They're just picking the most interesting people who keep watching, and they picked Lyra as one of those people.
Yeah.
Like that's huge. That's huge, and she lived up
100%.
to it.
100%. I think for me as well, if nothing else, she's going to become even more popular because
Yes.
of her reaction to that match. Because when you see her backstage, and apparently when she has the obviously the rant that she does, and then I'm going to have ice cream now. At the end, that's real. That's raw. That is what people actually want to see. They don't want to see the fakeness of what other people have been. They want to see this. This is it. And if anything, she's going to become. Now she was popular before, but she's going to become even more popular now. She's now in this program that her and Bailey are together in this tag team, doing really well. You know this, and if anything, if you can take anything from that match, it's like you have learned. This is a lesson. You don't only learn from good matches, you learn from bad matches. You don't learn from good times, you learn from bad times as well. This is how life works, and you are learning every single second. So take the experience, take at the end of the day, if you didn't think it was the greatest match in the world, that's your opinion. That's absolutely your opinion. You move on, you grow, and you go for it. And that's what she does. It's just she was so raw, it was so real, and it was so likable.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. And she's
But
so
I
good.
totally get her feeling towards it too.
Oh,
Like
absolutely, yeah.
if I cried in front of camera and it was going to be on Netflix and it was 5 months ago, I would think about that every day and I was in the arena 5 months. But I hope now that she's like, the world didn't end, and actually,
No.
I got a lot of new followers out of it. So maybe this is a good thing, and maybe I'm not afraid to cry next time, or I'm actually like I see the benefits in this as well. Because I think it's just she just added to her star, and the one thing that was maybe missing for her, and she knows this, and I loved her into like she just is a very like for all of us, like fucking mansplaining, like this life is difficult. Let me tell you about the pro wrestling industry from two former refs who never made it and work in corporate jobs now. Like,
Excuse me, I was an authority figure. Fuck
I'm an
you.
authority figure, fair. You were her dad for a while, like, yeah,
I
that's
was,
good.
I was her
But
dad.
But for like for all and that like what came across to me was she seems like such a calm head on young shoulders the entire time. Like she knows where she's at. She's not worried
Yeah,
about it. She's not overthinking it. She knows the stage she's at. She knows what she needs to do. Um, but I think that like I'm just like I went away from it going, she's a fucking star. She's a star. And I think a lot of people even who didn't know her like we do will walk away from it thinking the exact same. It was brilliant. I love
100%.
that part of it. And
100%.
ultimately it was a successful series, and I think like there was
Yeah.
a lot to take from it and a lot of conversation points, even if we're just having a little bit of a bitch here. That's kind of what we do. That's pretty much everything we have. And
Hmm.
guys, I know I said at the start of the show we'll be around every once every 2 weeks or so. We're actually going to be back this time next week with something very, very special that knowing this podcast is coming back. A couple of weeks ago, I went down and filmed something, and we're going to have an interview with someone who was actually on WWE Unreal on this podcast. We're also going to be reflecting on the Rumble party, which again is this Saturday. This is the part where I'd usually tell you to get tickets. Don't, you can't. There's none left. So please, if you don't have tickets, don't come down. But if you are there, it is going to be an amazing night on Saturday. Our all-day party kicks off at 4 p.m. in the Woolshed. I cannot fucking wait. Gerry, how was that feeling after your first showdown?
It went very well. I thought everything went fine there, and then you just reminded me that I wasn't part of your wonderful fucking interview. So go fuck yourself.
You be part of the show. You
I'm
be
part
reflecting on the
of
Rumble.
the show. I'm part of the show. Yeah. I fucking interview people for a living now.
So
So
go
you know
out and
what?
get your own
Fuck
poxy
you.
interviews then. Go out and get your
I
own
will.
interviews.
I will. And we'll have blackjack and hookers and fuck you.
We do want to do interviews. We do want to do stuff like
Yeah.
I want this to be a bit of a hodgepodge show. I want to have guests on. I would love to do live shows again, and I think Gerry, it'd be great with you doing live shows. So I'd love to do stuff like that. So there's loads we want to do, but please, guys, we need your support to be able to do it. So keep listening, share it with people if you think they'll like it, and so on, and kind of spread the good word. And kind of the more you give us, the more we'll be able to give you. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for your amazing reaction to the promo. It made me feel so much better because you do worry: are people going to forget? Are they going to give a shit? So I hope this has been the show you kind of expected, and if not, we'll make any adjustments and we'll go on. But that has been the first show of the new era, and it is officially, Gerry, the 324th episode of Low Blows that you're a part of. So you're very welcome. It only took you 324 to get here, but 324 more, says you. Guys, in the meantime, we'll see you on Saturday for the Rumble. Gerry, thanks so much for joining. Before we go, if you end the plug, or if you don't have end the plug, then just thought you can just give a shout out to something you're enjoying in general.
Well, put it this way. So there's there's a show that was cancelled by Prime that I'm now re-listening to the books again, and that's the Wheel of Time. Absolutely love the Wheel of Time books. I think they're absolutely fantastic.
That was
This is the thing. It was a disaster of a show. Oh, I watched the first season. So basically I said, I'm gonna give the first season a go. And I finished the first season going, I am never watching this piece of shit show ever again. How it got was it 3 or 4 seasons ago? How it got even that many, I will never know. But if you're interested in a lovely fantasy series that goes on for about 15 books, the first book, if you like listening to audiobooks, is 29 hours long. The first book is. So it's going to keep you engaged for a very, very long time. It's very, very interesting. Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. Or Robert Jordan? Or
Is it on Spotify, or are you going on Audible?
I'm on Audible. Yes, I'm not sure if it's on Spotify, but Audible is there, and I absolutely love it. I have every single book in the series. I think this is probably going to be my third listen because I just love it. It's like people, look at Christopher Lee. He read Lord of the Rings at least once a year for the majority of his life, even up until the year that he died. He still read it that year, and he watched some of the films the day he died. So this is the type of thing that I kind of resonate with. So I love my fantasy books. I absolutely love them. But I much prefer listening to them now than reading them. I've gotten so out of touch with reading that I just listen to everything now. And but the thing is, it's like you can put a voice in your head. Actually, I only listened to, and I'm really, really looking forward to watching it. I haven't watched it yet. Is the Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
Yes.
I haven't watched it yet because I'm waiting for it.
Gerry, it's so good.
I want a couple of episodes. The thing is, I know what happens because I've listened to the book recently,
I know.
And my God, is it brilliant!
I've seen the full series, Gerry. I got screeners sent to me. It is fantastic. It is. And if you haven't watched it, guys, and you're a bit nervous about Game of Thrones, it might just be the thing that gets you falling in love with Game of Thrones again. But you would know that if you would follow the thing that I'm going to plug. Because if you're interested in listening to me and my ramblings on whether it's TV, movies, sports bets, life in general, or just like me having a nervous breakdown in general, I do have a subpage as well where I kind of cover a lot of my general interests that I'll keep away from Low Blows for the most part and kind of keep it to the stuff that you guys like. But if you're interested in all that stuff, you can follow Gerry's Breakdown on Instagram or on TikTok, and you can get short form content where I kind of give you some movie recommendations. You might find your new favorite movie, you might find your new favorite TV show. I try review as much as is out at the moment, so check that out. Gerry, there's one final lesson before we go. We have to have a sign off line, so I'm going to sign off in the old way we used to, and then you can just add whatever flavor you want at the end in the spirit of it being the first show. So guys, thank you so much for listening. Welcome to Gerry. It's a pleasure to have you after all these years, already living up to the bill. You did great. I'm looking forward to sharing these adventures over however long we do this with you. But guys, we'll be back next week with a very special surprise interview. Like I said, with someone that was on WWE Unreal. So check it out. It's going to be class. We'll see you at the Rumble if you're there. But until then, he's been Gerry. I've been Jer. And that's the bottom line. Because Low Blow said so.
And so the joke starts off with Donald Trump and a hand
No,
doctor going to a
fucking
bar.
Gerry! No!